A pleasant good evening, Samoa, for the sake of our non-Samoan speaking audience. Pleasant good evening and welcome to another edition of our Tulino program. Tonight, we have the great pleasure of welcoming our special guest on our show tonight. He'll be appearing on a couple of our episodes. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Peter Baofu. Dr. Peter Baofu is an American visionary and author of 144 theories and visions, with 178 scholarly books and many other numerous articles that he's written, and he's well known all over the world. He's been around the world on various television stations, and also his books and his scholarly writings are used on various universities around the world. It is a pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Baofu, to NUS TV this evening.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Okay, well, to start off, I thought I would just talk a little bit about yourself, and it's your opportunity just to tell the audience who you are and what you are about. And I've noticed that you've been all over the world on various television stations doing interviews. And I wanted you just to touch base on why is it important for you just to get the message out to people about yourself.
Yeah, you had mentioned some of my works already, so maybe I can just add a few more. I'm the author of 178 books so far in all fields of knowledge in relation to the mind, nature, society, and culture. That is, in all fields of the formal sciences, the natural sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities. And I try to provide different solutions and visions, and I have provided more than 145 different new visions and theories of the human future in relation to the mind, nature, society, and culture. Not just for one culture, one society, and one specific group, but in the entire planet Earth. And that's why I have been in more than 127 different countries by now, and shall be more. So that is the global project that I'm doing, because I'm trying to provide solutions to global problems. And that's why it's so important for me to go to so many different countries. And as you just said, I was also interviewed on TV around the world in relation to some of the solutions that I propose to solve some of the global problems on Earth.
Wow. The word that comes to mind is genius. And we talked about solution to global problems. Now, for a small country like Samoa, we are not immune from the global issues that are happening around the world. As you will know, when something happens in Europe or in America or wherever in the world, it also affects our small island nation. Interesting that you mentioned space, because that was my next question on the sciences. It seems like there's this great fantasy with a lot of thinkers nowadays about outer space. There's a famous aerophysicist in America, Neil Tyson. I listen to a lot of his program, and he's always talking about terraforming planets for the safeguarding the future of our species. And I wanted to ask about that. In the sense that can we do something to this planet to safeguard its future, or is it something that it's just out of the question that we need to look into space for the security of our species?
I have also written quite a number of books on physics, on geology, on biology, on chemistry, because in the end all these are related. You need to understand our chemistry, biology, physics, engineering, and all that, and earth sciences to understand how this is going to work out. And I have written many of them. I make many predictions about them. In that example, I do think that there are many different reasons why we cannot survive on Earth. It's not just one reason. There are many. That's why each book I will give one reason, and then the next book on another topic I give you another reason. But that's why to understand me, you cannot read just one book of mine. You have to read all of them. But I know that none of you is going to read 178, and God knows how many more books that I'm going to finish before I die. So no one is going to read all of them. But I think that sooner or later, some groups of people, not one, will examine the collective works of mine audit maybe by the time, I don't know how many, maybe 200 booths or whatever, and they will work together as a team to understand me, because no one can read all of them, and they probably don't even have the knowledge and education, the interest to read all of them. And I said that there are a lot of different reasons. I can give you some examples. Right now, sustainability is a major issue here. The earth is not sustainable. Number one, we are using too many resources. Even when we are switching now to renewable resources, but that is not sufficient, because all this costs a lot of money, capital, technology in order to build, and many of them that you see nowadays, they are mostly from the advanced countries. You go to Africa, Latin America, or the Middle East, you come even in the Pacific Islands, you don't see too much of that. They are working on it. Sometimes you look at the roof, they have some kind of solar panels and all that. Yeah, but there's nothing by comparison with the scale that you need to resolve on a planetary scale, okay? So I'm not saying that you have done nothing. I'm just saying that it's not sufficient to resolve the planetary problem. Remember, I'm a global thinker. I don't mention only one house, one roof, one village. I look at the entire planet Earth. So that, no. If you ask me whether you can fix something in terms for a village, a small village, for a small house, for a small roof, yes, it's easy. Let me give you one example. Do you know Rwanda in Africa? Nowadays, people used to say that Rwanda is the Singapore of Asia. Rwanda is the beginning of a new Africa. I said that there's an extreme exaggeration, because Rwanda is a small country, just like about a roof versus the planet Earth, a small house, a small village versus the entire planet Earth. I lived in Africa for many years now. I have been in more than 25 to 30 different African countries, and I know that even in Rwanda, I was interviewed on TV too in Rwanda. I went to different villages. No, not at all. Not at all. It's easy to fix something in a small country, but if you talk about the entire continent of Africa, that's too big. Far from it. So don't use the example as a guiding light for the future. It doesn't work like that. It's the same thing about, we're talking about the roof versus the entire planet Earth. No, that is a major issue. We are consuming too much. And that's why there's another problem about capitalism again. This is one of the major problems, is that capitalism has been creating too many problems on Earth and have little solution to them. They just kick them away to the market and think that the market will help out, but the market is not resolving them. And then now those people on the left are asking the government to fix everything, and the government cannot fix them all. Why? Because there are a lot of political problems too. So now economic problem, political problem, ecological problem, you add them all up, now you can see. So both in terms of supply, in terms of demand, we cannot fix that. And sooner or later, I'm not talking about the next generation, I'm talking about our posterity. I'm talking about in a farther future, they have to move out. They have no other choice. Even if they want to stay here, I'm sure that some of them will stay here no matter what, because they love the earth so much. Fine, there are always people like that. They will die here, fine. But they will not be the future. They will move out. And in fact, we are already in the process of doing so. Now China is joining the space race, and that pushes a lot of pressure on the US to go back to the moon, to go to Mars. So I think that this kind of competition is good, because it really helps science to explore even more outer space. So I think that will help. The next step of the space race is to conquer the moon and then the Mars, and then afterward we will talk about another one. And see that we are in the process doing that. But as a visionary, that's exactly what I do. I go much further.
Dr. Peter Baofu, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for availing your time to spend with NUS TV. And I'm sure our audiences, as myself, have, I've been intrigued, I've been educated, I've been enlightened, and I'm sure that our audience have felt the same. Thank you very much for being part of this discussion. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our program.